back to the channel. Today I need to start the video off by cleaning this oil burning heater behind me. So ever since I've had this shop, it hasn't worked, and one of the guys from the other yard knew how to disassemble it, so he came down, pulled the cover off, and he was like, this is the most buildup I've ever seen in one of these, and this thing probably hasn't been cleaned since it was new. So what I need to do first is clean this thing up, get all that stuff out of there. I just cleaned the filter in my shop vac. The shop vac hose isn't long enough, so I'm going to throw it up on top of the tank. It'll be really nice to get this thing working. One reason is because this tank I filled up all the way to the top with oil, so it'll be nice to start burning some of that oil out so I can start putting some jugs. I have like 50 of these gallon jugs of oil in it, and then I'll get rid of all those so they're not just collecting. And then we'll have pretty much free heat instead of having to use these in the winter over, you know, to keep the shop at like a constant temperature, like 55 or, you know, 60 something, and then have, you know, the furnaces or the radiant heaters take over from there instead of having these things running natural gas to just heat the shop 100%, which isn't that big of a deal, but it'll just be nice to be able to throw all that used motor oil that I have in this thing again, because it is full all the way to the top. I now have everything cleaned out, and there was a ton of stuff. So, I mean, there still is, you know, I just did it with the shop vac really quick. Doesn't need to be perfect because it's gonna collect more of this residue over time, but it's gonna work because all of these are what transfer the heat. So these are like the coils, and the air's blowing across those, and it comes from up here, it's burning, and then it's going through here out the tube or exhaust up there. So all of these were plugged off, which was a very big issue. So now they're good. You can see all the way into the tube. That one right there has a little bit of stuff back there, but it should blow all that stuff out, which will be really nice. So let's have Joe come back down here, reassemble this thing and we'll try to fire her up. So came back over and finally got this thing. Oh no, it was running. No, we got it running. It seems kind of mad because it hasn't ran for like at least 5 to 10 years. So gonna probably have to keep giving her the startup, but it was making this weird sound because it was getting oil all the way around the barrel. I guess what happens is it spews oil out of this little hole in the center with a fan, and then it burns it around this barrel, and then it goes to the coils and then out the tube. It's really pretty clean, but for some reason it keeps shutting off. And at first we thought there was maybe water in there, and we thought maybe the filter was an issue, but gonna have to keep messing with it. Starting, but she's not staying running. So what I'm gonna do is let it cool down. We're gonna pull the cover back off, and then there's like a little eye that squirts out the oil, and we're gonna clean that with some brushes and some brake cleaner, and then hopefully that fixes it. But maybe there might be air in the line because it's sat for so long. Finished messing with the heater. It still isn't working for some reason. It kicks on and then it instantly kicks off. One time it ran for like 10 minutes and then it kicked off and it wouldn't come back on. But I'm gonna start getting the front clip ready for the Pulsar GTI-r, and I just need to cut it off a Sentra. I think that's what I'm gonna have to do, is use a Sentra, like a B13 Sentra front clip. I got that B14, but it ended up being quite a bit different. So B13 is pretty close. Some of the bolt holes for like the tow hook brackets are different, but the rest of the stuff looks very similar. I wish I could just get brand new sheet metal, because I know Nissan sells that whole front core support as one unit and you could just spot weld it in, but you can't order it. I don't think you could order it. If anybody knows of one, I would like to order one. But I got everything separated from that Sentra B13 front clip, and it's ready to, pretty much ready to go onto the Pulsar. I need to start cutting the stuff off of the Pulsar, but I'm kind of concerned. So before I start cutting up, or not cutting up, but drilling spot welds out of the Pulsar and pulling the damaged sheet metal out, like I said before, this whole piece is damaged because they cut a hole and cut all this and then welded it for an intercooler pipe. Same thing on that side. And then this is rusted. So what I want to keep is this upper pillar, and I drilled the spot welds out so everything could just be spot welded back together. And what I'll have to do is just do the same thing, is just take this piece off and not mess this up. But hopefully somebody that's watching the video knows if they still have these available, the whole front clip, because I need the whole front clip here, and I also need both rear quarter panels for each side to get this thing fixed correctly, because like I said before, this side has quite a bit of rust on the quarter just around the wheel arch, and then on the other side it doesn't have any rust, but it has this huge dent. So if I'm going to do one quarter, I might as well do both of them and just kind of solve this issue, and then I could fix everything correctly. Also, I don't really need this front core support as a brand new part. If somebody has a Pulsar GTI-r that they're parting out and they have this front core support, probably I'd take it as I did the Sentra. If you guys, if it's a wrecked car or something along those lines and this core support isn't damaged or rusty, if they could just cut it off maybe at like the firewall, because I also need that clutch pedal bracket in here that is spot welded to the firewall, because mine is all damaged. It's not really damaged, but it cracked, broke. They welded it and fixed it. It works, but it's just really, I want to replace that if I'm going to restore this car. Also, the clutch pedal bracket, I need that as well. So if anybody's watching this video has those, because I think this is it right here. No, that's definitely not it, because that's not all messed up. But yeah, the clutch pedal bracket is just destroyed. So I need both of those. It would be really nice if somebody just could cut me the car right off the front. And then I could just get the whole front and then not have to modify this, because it's very, very close from the B13 Sentra. But like I said before, some things that bother me is right here. This isn't the same. So there's a tow hook, and you can see there's a bolt here. I think all these other bolts, or these holes right here, are the same, but that one on the back side isn't. This piece of sheet metal I was going to use all the way up, and then this piece I was going to use to fix this big hole that they cut in here, so it would be 100% factory and not cut, because I'm not going to run a front mount on this thing. I'm going to run something different. So like I said, it would be really nice to just be able to get all of that if anybody has that available, or if anybody knows of a dealership or something that has the brand new sheet metal with quarter panels and all that other stuff. So really happy that this is where it is, because it is ready to go on the car, and it will work if I can't find the alternative, which would be stuff off a Pulsar GTI-r. But I can't wait to get this fixed, because then I could spray the engine bay once I got the color. I've already decided what color I'm going to paint this car, but just like the Striker green, I'm waiting on toner so they can make a gallon of the Striker green and then the gallon of paint for the Pulsar GTI-r. So I'm going to end the video here. Super excited that this is ready to go, kind of. There are some, like I said, some insimilarities. Like this is, I thought this was the same length, but I think it's a little bit shorter. And then the piece of metal that I was going to replace up there is a little bit different, which isn't going to work out. But the core support part is pretty close to being the same. So also, like I said, if you know anybody, just DM me, comment, whatever it is, email me. My email's in the description. If you like these videos, make sure to click the subscribe button, throw a thumbs up. throw a comment below. As always, see you guys next time.